Okay, so we're gonna jump into doing a bit more on the ramp here, and there's kind of a couple ways you can do stuff with the ramp. Let me just cancel out of that. With the ramp here, you can hover over it, and it's going to tell you how it's going to work. So it's just like drawing a set of stairs, but you need to look at the default settings. So at the moment, I don't have anything that could really represent the lower part of the driveway. So when I go to my elevation view, here we've got ground floor, but I want to have another level. I want there to be a little bit of a ramp in that driveway because we want water to flow away from the building a little bit. So I'm going to again create similar, and I'll just draw this down here. Just do it pretty crudely. Maybe not at -600. I want it to maybe over 10 meters for like 300 mil. So level 2, and I'll just call it ramp for now. Ramp. Okay, so now when we go to our ground floor view and we go and do the ramp, I did bring in another ramp which sort of mucked things up a little bit here because of the way it was configured, but this should still work. There is a maximum incline length. I'll drop this down to 10 meters, and then the slope can be 1 in 12 or 1 in 10. I'll leave it on 1 in 12, and we'll make sure that it's an exterior one, and we'll just keep the thickness the same, and it could be thick or it could be solid. So we'll just go OK for that. Now we're going not from the ground floor, from the base level, we're going from the ramp one that we just created to the ground floor, and we've got some other items here we could look at. The width, we'll work this out, and I'm going to go from here and draw it to here. So here we have the length that we need. I'll just move this to where it needs to be for now. We'll just say it's there, and just let that finish. So far so good, no errors. And I think by default, because I brought in some data from another file, it's just hitting those railings. Now the railings are cool, but I don't need them, and we can see here where that ramp is coming to. It is actually joining up with that part of the floor slab. Because of the rules that I've set up, so that's it is falling away. I could go back here and manipulate some of the stuff. So maybe I could go back to what it originally was. So 12,000 apply, and we can also edit the width. So I'll bring it right out to that grid line there. And this doesn't really matter. This is just a marker basically. So it's just a sketch. So you can actually start to manipulate all of this should you need to. It's just a sketching tool, and we'll just go OK. And now when we go to our 3D view, it's not looking too bad. So that's the essence of the ramp. I think the last thing was, do you want to have it as thickness, or maybe you're pouring it on site and it's just going to be a solid wedge. That's what it could be. Just depending on how you plan to do it. And you look at the steepness of this. Maybe it could be too steep. Maybe you own a Lamborghini or something like that, and you want to have that much more shallower. So we could apply that, and we'll just see whether that's going to allow us to bring that out a little more. Seem to be adjusting that well. Oh, and it is cropping here. Okay, so we've made that a little bit longer, and when we go to our ground floor view, we do have a section already there in place. So I'll just reuse that. Go to that view, and we can start to see how that's going to look. Again, we can go back, previous tutorials we covered annotation, and we can start to look at the angular setting between that. So it's working out to be 2.39. Now this is all because of how I've stretched it out, but maybe it's going to be 3. You can't do that. You can't drive that from the sketch. So maybe I could be a little more careful about it. So that's 7 to 7 meters. Now again, this is just the basics. There's probably a lot more that you can do with the ramps, depending on how you manipulate all of this. There's some other items for better creating ramps as well. This is if you want to get into spiral ramps and bits and pieces, you can start to do this, or you can even go into the massing environment, and you can start to mass stuff in place and then apply the ramp to suit that massing. We won't do that now because we've sort of achieved what we want to do here. Couple other things we could be doing. So maybe you want to have something else happening out here. Let me just clean up a couple of things here. Just want to, now that my project's getting a bit bigger, I'm just going to pull these grid lines out a little bit, and we might want to do something out the front here, like for the slab. So if we go and do a floor slab, there are tools here to manipulate it once it's been done. So this could just be a generic 150 slab, and you've got these other tools here to manipulate the sub elements. So maybe we want this slab to be high at this point and then falling away to this point. So you could add a point. It's already done there. We'll just go and modify the sub elements. So I want to get that one there. That one's at ground floor. This one, I want this to be dropping down 300, and I want this one to be dropping down 300 as well. So we'll go negative 300. Just check that, like that, negative 300. And now when we just go to modify, that's a 0, that's a 0, and just sorry, did that by mistake. Okay, and let's just see how that's coming up in 3D. Okay, yeah, so by default, yeah, it is working. So that's another way to create a ramp or customize a ramp, for example. Again, we can do this in 3D. Maybe this one is going to have something a little bit higher. So instead of being 300, go OK. And we'll just cancel out of that. That's now done it. So now we've kind of got this more interesting shape. Okay, the last little bit just want to show here is how to use some of the massing tools and applying different parametric objects by face. So here in the massing in sight, mass in place, we'll just go for default mass 1, and you've got all these tools here to start massing. We're just going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to do it from this edge and bring it over to here, and I'm not going to be too accurate about where I'm going to snap it. Let's just do it there. So now we've got a shape, and we want to create a form from that shape. That's gone and created that form. This can be manipulated when you go and select these items. You can bring it down a little bit, so you can actually grab that face, or you can get an edge and adjust that edge, or if you want, you can go and get a point or a corner and then crank that up. So kind of an easy tool to start adjusting some of the geometry. Now what I want to do just with that, it's very basic, is finish it, and I want to create a roof out of that. Now, weirdly enough, the roof tool doesn't really work, or the floor tool doesn't really work here. It's just not going to work in that way. If you have mass floors, you could go and grab the ground floor and the ramp and go okay, and it'll kind of do something there. It's not really perfect. It's not what I'm after. So I've just undone that. What I want to do is go to architecture, and I could use either the roof or the wall tool. You can go and grab that and go create roof, and that will now do that shape for you in alignment with that shape that we just created. Same thing here is we could do it even with the wall tool. The wall tool likes it. So wall by face, maybe we want to use one of those walls we've created before. I'll just do the blockwork wall by face, and now that has done it. So that's kind of cool. To get rid of that mass at the end, you can hide in view, or you can just go to your view template or VG for visibility graphics and turn the mass off. It was turned off. Maybe I override it because when I created it. So at the moment, I'm just going to do the shortcut way of doing it. Hide in view elements, and that's now gone. And now we're just left with this interesting wall, which has got some block work on it, or it could be pavers and stuff like that. So couple of ways to create a standard ramp, or a ramp from a floor slab, and then this last one using the massing elements here, and you can get some interesting shapes and some interesting falls. So there's 3 techniques you could use in your design workflow.